Hi Flosstube, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Stitching with Nicole, Flosstube episode 148. Couple of weeks since my last video. I'm super excited to be back. I have lots of stitching to share since it's been a while since I've been here. Lots of finishes, some other great things. I'm going to answer a question in here. I have FFOs to share, a fun patriotic project to share, and more. So we're just going to go ahead and dive in to this week's episode and talk about all of the things. Let's chat about some FFOs. The first thing, I did share this on social media. Immediately after my last Flosstube episode where I showed a lot of my patriotic stitching, I said I wanted to redo my Home Sweet Home by With Thy Needle and Thread. It was a finish that I had done where I had been playing around with polyester fiberfill and poly pellets combination in my finish. I didn't love it. I didn't like my finish. I didn't like the bow on the top, how I had done that bow. It was prior to the bow tool from 141 Design and all of those things. So I thought I was going to try to save the backing fabric that was on there. It was a blue and kind of cream check. I ended up not. I ended up taking the whole thing apart. I just carefully unpicked it. The opening is down here. I unpicked it and then I pulled all of the contents out. I carefully took my seam ripper and pulled apart, and I ended up picking a new fabric. This is one of my favorites. It's from that wonderful Riley Blake collection that came out for this year. That's like one of my very favorites. I know I've seen Tara mention that collection a lot too. It's probably the best one, in my opinion, for this year that I love, the patriotic kind. Anyway, I had some of this left over. I use this for patriotic pairs as well. And I decided to go ahead and put this as my backing. I put lightweight fusible. I already had some on the front piece, but I put some on the back. I like that. I think it gives my finishes a little bit more structure, a little bit sturdier finish. And I like mine kind of flat. You can see mine's not super poofy. And I sewed it back together, shut my opening, and then I did that ruched ribbon all the way around. And this is a Dames of the Needle. I want to say it's like Miguel's Navy or something. I'll put the exact one down below. It's out of stock everywhere because I was going to restock it in my personal stash because I've used it multiple times. But I just kind of couched that ribbon on. I did hand sew it all the way around. This trim does take a little bit more time, but it's one of my very favorites. Let me flip the camera as well, and we can show this a little bit more. So this, that's causing a shadow. That's my next one I'm going to share with you. So this is my finish of that. I love it, and just in time to put out and enjoy here for the 4th of July and for the rest of the summer. Here's that backing fabric. I did make sure that it was going directionally the right way, that it wasn't upside down, and I loved that. I loved the little pieces that were in here. I just thought it was so cute. Look, Bunker's Hill. I love it. Anyhow, this is my redo, my refinish, so I thought it was the perfect thing to add to this section. Very happy with it. I am almost certain this is a vintage country mocha. It might have been the called for. I stitched this several years ago. I want to say maybe 3 years ago now. I don't remember what. It's all the called for threads. Probably the called for fabric, but I didn't go back and research my old videos or anything like that to look. It was just a redo of a finish. And if I can encourage you guys to do anything, if you have a finish that you don't love, maybe you finished it when you were newer to finishing like I did, don't feel bad about ripping it apart and redoing it. Or if you finished it on a board, and that's not your jam and you want to make it into a pillow, or if you want to lace it and put it into a frame, you can always do that. So really, really love this. Super excited to have this one redone and in my displays. So back in May, I did all of that tomato stitching, and I had lots and lots of finishes for that. And this was a bonus. It isn't really tomato related, but I had wanted to stitch this and I was doing all of those smalls. So I went ahead and stitched this as well. And this is the sewing bird from With Thy Needle and Thread. Look, it may be my With Thy Needle and Thread year. I don't know, but I feel like that's a lot of what I'm showing you lately and today. So maybe we'll just go with it. Anyway, I had this chart and I want to say, yeah, it's old. It's from 2013. And let me grab my little stitch card here. I have all of my information on here. I do have these stitch cards and floss drops available in my shop if you're interested, so I will pop a link to those. But I love that I have this. I just slide it into my sheet protector with all of my stuff then, because I do like to save my charts. I like to kind of have them on hand if I ever restitch anything or I just need information or whatever. It's kind of my chart library, but I do put anything I've stitched in separate binders of charts I've stitched so I can go back and reference. And now that I am doing stitch cards for my projects, it is a lot easier when I'm sharing something like my Home Sweet Home. I have no idea what I stitched that on unless I want to go back and watch videos, and I don't. So now I could go back and look at it and look it up, and it makes it a lot handier. But this is my finish of the sewing bird. I did stitch this on 36 count vintage homespun by R&R. I did switch out the Valdani Quiet Fall for Classic Colorworks Calico Kitty, and I literally stitched this in a few days. So you'll notice, let me show you the cover sheet again. I really tried to just copy that. There are instructions for making the little strawberry emery, so I did that with some scraps of wool left over from my needlebook class. I did put a little bulb pin on here in my 2026 charm as well, and I just hand sewed this ribbon. This is actually a seam binding ribbon from Stampin' Up. You're going to see my ribbon storage here in this video as well. I redid all of my ribbon storage since I've been here last. I already was using it, but I got more and I love it. We'll talk all about it during Get Organized. But I was able to kind of go through that, look at it, and I just hand stitched it. So you'll notice on the back. And if I ever want to take it off and just stick this in a bowl, I can do that. So very, very easy. I did put a couple of pins in. I have links to the pens, to my 2026 charm, and the bulb pens in my Amazon shop, and I'll share those there, as well as the wool roving that I use inside of my finishes. I did stitch this one up at the bottom. This is a fabric from my stash. I picked it up when I was in Amana last summer. I don't know what it is. It was just a little fat quarter, but could that be any more perfect? Look at that. Oh, love it. So my feeling for this is I'm either going to hang it on a little hook here in my room or even on the doorknob somewhere, just as a little additional decoration. I liked the hanging idea for, obviously not my idea, Brenda's idea, for a little something different than a bowl finish. But again, very easy to just take a little seam ripper or some little snips, pop out those stitches, and literally pop it in a bowl if I want to. I'm kind of a big fan of being able to switch things out if need be. And so that is my beautiful sewing bird from With Thy Needle and Thread. Another awesome, awesome finish to have done. Really, really love it. I love making these little strawberries too. Come together in minutes. Worked great for some little scraps of fabric that I had. Anyhow, so there is my finish number 2. Our FFO number 2. Let's see how many. We're going to count my Home Sweet Home as number 1, so this is 2, because there's a lot in today's video. All right, finishes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. They are all small, in fairness, but remember all that tomato stitching. I wanted to show you my little bowl display that I have on my shelves out in my office area, and I love them. Now, this bowl is from Walmart, from My Texas Home. If it's in stock, I will link this in the video description because I love it. It's the perfect little size to tuck into little nooks and things, and I love that it's a pedestal, so it will sit up on stuff. I actually have it sitting on a little marble riser, also from My Texas Home. I'll link that one as well. But I love, love, love them. So anyhow, there's my little plug for that because I just thought it was really cute. But look how adorable this little bowl is. It makes me so happy to have these done. And it really, I know I mentioned this as I was stitching these, it inspired me, all of those books from Brenda Gervais like this. This is Keeper of the Pens. I want to challenge myself during those seasons to pick them up and try to stitch everything in the book because I really do love it. Now, the only exception to Keeper of the Pens is I Collect, which goes with it, in my opinion, perfectly, and that's that big one back here. So let's flip the camera around and take a close-up look at all of these. And if you are looking for these little cute tomato pin cushions, these are from Dritz, and I have these in my Amazon shop, so I will pop a link to those below too. They make fantastic gifts. They obviously make fantastic little bowl fillers and things. Really, really sweet, really cute. Okay, so here is a little top down of my bowl. Let's go ahead and just start from the back with I Collect. And you will also notice, I think I have this rickrack trim in my Amazon shop too. You can get a whole spool of it. I will drop you guys, or I'll drop a link if I have that in my shop, because I think it is fabulous to have on hand, especially if you like stitching with thy needle and thread like I do. And she does use this natural rickrack a lot. It's nice to have on hand if you like to kind of copy that. And then these pins are just like, here we go. They're a little bit bigger top. I used them in here as well. I also get those on Amazon. I will link those for you guys too. I need to do like a whole, if I haven't already, I need to do a finishing page in my shop for things like that. But love this. I did hand stitch all of my rickrack on really quick and easy. Look, after stitching this many, I got real good at it. All of my pillows are opened, either if they are big enough down at the bottom. The only exception were these two, and I opened them alongside so that I could have a little bit more play to open those up. But this is I Collect. I just took buttons from my stash. A lot of them are from my friend Holly, Mrs. Jones Stitches. And then I added the little black pins in there. Lightweight fusible interfacing on both my backing fabric. This is a Sweetwater fabric. I had a half yard of this. It doesn't take a whole lot for all these little pillows. And I did all of them the same. It's just the perfect. I think it says it's from the Mama Says So. They've done a couple of sewing collection fabrics, and this was from the first one. I've had it for quite a while, and I just loved it because I felt like it worked really nice for this kind of thing. So that is I Collect, stitched with all the called for colors. On the called for fabric, which was, no, it wasn't the called for fabric, I lie. I stitched on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha. The called for was a 40 count. I did stitch on 40, but Vintage Country Mocha, because I did stitch all of Keeper of the Pins also on Vintage Country Mocha. I just wanted them all to look the same. And this stitched up so stinking fast. Highly, highly recommend. I am going to link to Chantal's 141 design. I believe she has all of these charts in stock. So definitely, if you're looking for a good resource for With Thy Needle and Thread charts, check her out. But that is I Collect. We'll just set that up there. Next, I did Keeper of the Pens. I haven't finished the little bonus back here. Let's see if there's a better close-up of that one. Here we go. I did do this one. I haven't finished it yet, mostly because I think I cut it too small. It's been a pain to sew. We're going to see if I can get it done. I don't know. I may have to restitch that, which it only took hardly any time at all. We'll see. We'll just see if I even do it. Who knows? But all of the charts from here, except the bonus, I have done. So let's just go through them one at a time. And I'm going to go through the book. We have the sewing bird. So here is the sewing bird. Probably my favorite one from the chart. I love, love, love this one. Again, lightweight fusible on my backing fabric as well as my stitching. All of them are filled with wool roving, which I like. It's a little denser than polyester fiber fill. And I feel like you can get the pretty flat finishes, which is what I wanted. I only left a 1/2 inch margin all the way around. Brenda tells you in the chart, if you're filling like with wood shavings or something like that, a 1/2 inch. With polyester fiber fill, she said, maybe leave 3/4 of an inch all the way around. Well, even though I was doing wool roving, like I said, it's a little denser and you're able to flatten it really, really well. So I went ahead and did the 1/2 inch. And here's my little tip. I've never done this before, but when I was finishing all of these, what I did was I sewed it all the way around, flipped it out, stuffed it, sewed it shut. Then I took it over to my to my ironing board. And on the back, I pressed and pressed, and I pressed hard, which I always do. After I pressed, I took some wood clappers. They're quilter clappers. You could also take heavy books or something, and something heavy. And I set them on top until this cooled. And I feel like it helped keep them nice and flat. So really, really happy with that. And that is the sewing bird. Okay, next in the book, my soul is fed with needle and thread. Looks like I might need to do a little trim there down at the bottom of the overlap. But here is this one. Absolutely love, love, love. Then next in the book is Threads of Time, which is this cute little large spool with all of the little tomatoes on top, and then of course the little strawberry emery down here. And this is one of them that I did along one of the long sides where I opened it. I didn't really want big patches on the back of all of them. I went back and forth whether I wanted to open them in the back or what, and I ended up opening all of them either at the bottom or the sides. Next up is Dame of the Needle, which I will be honest, I didn't think this was going to be my favorite. I don't know why. And she was my last one. I actually ended up really, really loving her. I love everything about this. And I think she's the cutest. Why did I think that? I don't know. Anyway, look how cute and tiny these are. I mean, these fit into the palm of my hand. They're so small. Very cute. And I should mention, these were all stitched on 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. So all Vintage Country Mocha for these, Keeper of the Pins, all 36 count. I collect was on 40. And finally in here we have Red Sampler Pincushion, which was the first one I stitched last summer. And then I just set all of these aside. So this one was the only one that was done. And just like all the rest, got the cute little rickrack and all of that. So those are my Tomato Smalls finishes from May. Happy to have all of these done, displayed. I just had to make myself sit down and FFO these. My inclination is to just let it sit. I don't know why. Once I was into it, I popped in my earbuds, listened to, earbuds, what? AirPods, listened to an audiobook and just sewed. That's kind of my go-to for sewing because I can listen and not have to be looking at something And I got all of these done. It did take an afternoon, but I did these and the sewing bird all in one. So we'll just pop these back in here, but love them so, so much. Like I said, I'm thrilled to be able to display these now. They just make me so happy. And here is my little collection. Now, I will link to any of the charts that Chantal at 141 Design has in her shop in case you want to pick some up for your tomato stitching. I kind of think that might be something I do going forward in May. I know there's like Market Mania, Stitch Mania, whatever, which I like participating in, but I think I'm just maybe not do a whole bunch every May, but just always kind of have a tomato project going and just a little focus, whether it's one piece or several. I think it would be nice to have a focus on those during May each year, but really excited. I'm going to put together a whole bag, project bag of tomato stitching, or at least the things that I kind of have ongoing or on my mind so that I can just grab that when I feel like my tomato stitching. Okay, so the other thing I finished is more of a sewing project. Well, it is a sewing project, but it's a great last minute 4th of July project. Now, I know I talked about my project bag tutorial and the stars tutorial. Both I will be putting up on my channel this week. I apologize for the delay. When I say the last few weeks have been crazy, they have been crazy. I've had a lot of class. I've had a lot of out of the ordinary things do. A lot. So I teach paper crafting classes for anybody who doesn't know. And that has, taken a little bit of time. I have a lot of upcoming stuff for that, a lot of things due for that. And then in addition, I have new felt stitching dies coming out with spellbinders for Halloween and Christmas, and we work very far in advance for those things, and so I have had a lot of felt stitching to do. I cannot wait to show you, especially my bonus projects for both of them. I always stitch them as like standalone ornaments, double-sided ornaments, you know, but then I like to, my love language for that kind of thing is pillows, different kind of finishes. I did a drum with my beehive. You know, I like to do more different finishes. And so I have a couple of really cute things coming that I cannot wait to share with you guys. So that will be a little later this summer, which is super fun. But let's talk more about the little last minute patriotic idea, especially if you have any red and white, red and cream stripe yardage and a blue scrap lying around. This project was completely inspired by scraps, completely inspired by scraps. And so I love Tim Holtz fabric, and I had this stripe, which is a Christmas collection from, I believe, last year. I have lots of it, but I had some in my scrap bin, and I was like, I bet I could make a cute flag that I don't have to piece together at all. So I put on my channel last week a tutorial on how to put together this flag, and then I just adorned it with a whole bunch of scrap ribbon. This is actually my bonus one. I had to refilm part of my video. Sometimes the best intentions. I had recorded myself sewing, doing all the decorative stitching, and didn't realize that camera was on super speed. It's the one I use for vlogging, and you can do different speeds. And I thought, what have I even, that's not fun. You can't see what I'm doing. But I had already sewed them all. I didn't realize it. And so I was editing the video and I was like, crud. So I went and I sewed another one, not mad about it. I actually needed another one for a gift. I sent my ex-husband and my son, my youngest son went to go visit my daughter, and I put together a little patriotic gift basket for her because she likes to decorate too, and I sent one of these to her. So I was like, well, I need another one anyway, because I've got a couple others for gifts. So this was the bonus one I made, and I love it. Most of them, let me actually flip around. Most of them, I used my Janome and I did a cute zigzag stitch. This is a little straight stitch because it was my bonus and I didn't want to get my other sewing machine out. I don't have my older sewing machine out all the time anymore. But I like the straight stitching as well. I actually realized, I don't even know if it needed the zigzag. This is really cute. But I shared just how I stitched this. You can see it's all raw edges, which is what I want. It's got batting in between, scraps of ribbon on here. And then this is just a dowel stick with a wood bead, E6000 to the top. I didn't even stain it. I didn't even feel like you needed to. I will link to the wood beads that I'm using because I have had a few questions. I will link to those. But what I love, it will come off of here. So if you wanted to stain it or put it on something else, you totally could. And I just wrapped the ribbon scraps around. I went through my scrap jar. All the ribbons for this one are from my scrap jar. I used different ribbons on all of them, but really easy, fun, takes no time at all to make. And I hope you guys, I will link to the tutorial here. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, but I would love if you sew them up. Please tag me. It's at Nichol Spohr on Instagram. Let me know. And you guys, did you know on Instagram now, you can actually show a photo in your comment? So if you sew one up, tag me or underneath that post on my Instagram, show me yours. I would love, love, love to see what you guys sew up if you make this. I sewed the first 8 that I did. This is number 9, but I made 8 of these originally. Well, okay, I did a tester, so let's not count that. Let's say I did 7 of them. I literally sewed them up in like 2 hours. I had them completely done. It's a very, very fast project. If you're having guests or friends over or family for the 4th of July and you want to do like a little gift for people, it's a quick last minute idea. So anyway, I wanted to share those here because I love it. And I am going to give one of my flags away to one of you guys. That's this week's giveaway. I thought, I know it will be after the 4th of July, but if you're going to be like me, I'm leaving my 4th of July decor up probably clear until August, maybe September, who knows. And it is that we decorate every year, so oh well. But if you would like one of these, please use flag somewhere in your comment. We will choose one of you to send this to. Please be over 18. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, leave the keyword by this date shown here on the screen, and we will pick one of you. I will carefully bubble wrap it and send it to you in a box. So not just a soft package because I don't want the dowel stick to get broken, but I would love to gift one of you one of my homemade handmade flags. Okay, let's visit about what I have been stitching on. I haven't finished anything else, but I have been stitching, and a lot of the things I've been stitching are on the bigger side. So not mad about it. I actually have really just been trying to not be in a rush. It does not matter when I get things done. I'm stitching because it's relaxing after a lot of stress of other things. So the first thing I had hoped to have done by the end of this month, it was not meant to be. That's okay. I am still hoping to have this done by the end of July because I'd like, or sooner, rather sooner than later, even though it's not a rush. Again, I'm just gonna whenever, but I'd like to get it to the framer. So that is the With Needle and Thread by With Thy Needle and Thread. And here is where I'm at on this. So here, let's move it up a little bit so you can see. I have, not quite half of it done. I think the last time I was here, I had this stitched and I had started down the side. So I finished this whole section. And now I've moved into the main section with the house. I've got it outlined here. And I just worked on this flower pot a little bit. I have actually not picked this up in a week, maybe. 4 or 5 days. It's been a little bit. I was trying to work on it mostly every day, but I just kind of needed a little break. And so I gave myself that break that I needed. I'm stitching this on 36 count Legacy, which is the called for fabric by Picture This Plus, with all of the called for threads. I'm sure you've seen it. Everyone seems to be stitching it, so it's everywhere. Lots of gorgeous, gorgeous finishes. If you haven't watched Christy of Crosshatch Quilts video yet, please go watch hers. Her finish is gorgeous. My friend Chantal of 141 Design, she finished hers and just got hers back from the framer. I'm sure she'll be sharing it. Gorgeous. Lots of you have stitched it. So again, I want to get this done and to the framer and back. I'm getting ready to hang a couple of shelves out in my office area. I'm going to kind of have them staggered, well, like one on top of the other on one of the walls. And this is one of the pieces I would like to have on there. So I'm really into getting some more framed pieces. Maker and Mender is also on my list from With Thy Needle and Thread. Again, so far, have I shown anything not With Thy Needle and Thread? I almost feel like I'm an ad for Brenda, and I'm not mad about it. But I love, love, love this. It's so beautiful. I think Christy said in her video that this was her favorite thing from Market. Mine too. It really is. And so many people have said that. I love it. Cannot wait to get this to Steve and have him work his magic with a frame. So anyway, that is my progress on that. No, I didn't meet my goal. And no, I'm not mad about it. Okay, so my next whip is something that I had wanted to start last year. And actually, let's look here. Oh, here it is. I had stitched the Stitching Quaker from Primrose Cottage last year. This is a 46 count fabric from Color and Cotton. I want to say it's Dove. I'm going to have to double check that though. And I stitched it with all the called for Color and Cotton threads. 1/2 on 46 count. So yes, my little guy is really small. And yes, I put him in the bag and forgot I had him. So I would like to FFO him here real soon, because I think it'd be cute in my stitch box. Maybe even I'm going to the Primrose Cottage retreat next month. It would be cute to have that in my stitch box for that. But I was needing, I don't know, I just felt like starting something new. And I've been wanting to stitch the Stitching Rules. I would like to hang it in here. I have an area I think it would be, and I want to stitch all of these on 46 count so that they're super tiny. It's going to be a tiny little frame, and I think it'll be really cute. So I thought, well, the only way to get it done is to start. So I did, and I started the first section here, which is I'm going to stitch them in sections, one at a time. So I did Stitching Rules, all the called for colors. You can see that here. And then I'm just going to work my way through each of these. I'm probably going to take this with me to the retreat and try to work on it there as well. But just so cute. Oh, is there a little stain on my fabric? That is really going to make me mad. If that's the case, maybe it's just wet. I need to go see if I can iron that out. Anyhow, this is a new start. I love it on this fabric. I think it's really pretty. I'm imagining, I think I want to do some sort of an aqua frame. I think it will really draw the eye. That's my feeling. Either that or maybe a reddish frame to match one of the kind of pinky reds from here. But I think it'll be really showy around this. But you can see it's going to be like a little skinny band sampler. I think it'll be, and I'm going to get it framed pretty tight. I think it'll just be really, really cute hanging on the wall. So that is Stitching Rules from Primrose Cottage. Next up, I have one of my Christmas Whip Go pulls, which is the Bells on Christmas Day by Blackbird Design, and it is the sampler here. I want to stitch everything from this book, But last December, Holly, Mrs. Jones Stitches, and Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher had a start along, stitch along for the Bells on Christmas Day. And I started and had the tiniest start on this. In fact, if I have a photo, I'll pop it in here. If not, then there won't be anything in there. But I sat down and I think I stitched on this just one evening. And all I had originally was maybe just a couple of letters, maybe, oh yeah, I only had like the NOP over here. I had the top border, oh, I have a little string I didn't cut off, minus the two corners, and then I had this little straight inner border, and then I have it all, almost all the way down, not, maybe it's all the way down to that bottom. Anyway, so what I worked on was I finished this first whole row of the sampler. I did add some leaves. I did add these two corners. These berries were already stitched. I did add the berries here, and I did not do them as Smyrnas like in the chart. I just did them as cross stitches. Okay, here's the true story. I didn't read the book, and I had already done these and I didn't want to rip them out, and I thought, I don't care that much. Cross stitches are going to be just fine for the little berries. I'm using all the called for colors, and I'm stitching this on 36 count Winter Brew by R&R. My goal with my Christmas whip go was just to work on my whips. There's still a few days left, 3 days left in June. I have not even touched A Merry Gentleman by Plum Street. So I'm going to touch that one first so that I at least have a touch on it, and then I might try to stitch on this one some more. But I do have this twice on my board because I redid my board, if you've seen any of my past videos about that, so that I can hopefully touch this again. But I would love to have this one, maybe not this year, who knows, but I'd love to have this one eventually to hang up in my house, framed and hang up for Christmas. I just think it's so pretty, and I really want to make this little bag too. I love the little pin keep. Yeah, I love all of it. I love this book. It's a great one. I will link to this down below too. And FYI, meant to mention this at the beginning, I do link to everything I talk about down in the description box below. And if I run out of room, it is in the first pinned comment here in the comment section on YouTube. I do that hopefully to answer most questions, and so that you can find all that I talk about in that show notes in the description box, hopefully, and make it really easy, especially if a lot of you have the same questions. Let's talk my progress on One Nation. So I keep it in this project bag. This tutorial will be dropping this week. Yes, this is Patriotic, but I'm also going to be sharing with you guys a fall version, because I know you guys are probably inundated like I am in your Instagram feed and everywhere else. Fall and Christmas have already started dropping everywhere. So I love this bag, and funny enough, I hadn't been using it. I don't know why. I found it because I made this last year using the Patriotic box, the Liberty box from Fat Quarter Shop. So this is where I'm housing One Nation by Bygone Stitches. I am stitching this. This is kind of my celebration piece for the 250th birthday of the United States. And I stitch 2 strands a day on this. Truth be told, I am a little behind, so tonight I have 4 strands. And I was really behind because I didn't stitch for 4 days last week, and I got all caught up. I just loaded up, I think I loaded up 12 needles, 4 red, 4 white, 4 blue, and then I just stitched. And so that was, I got mostly caught up, and then I didn't work on this at all last night. But I am stitching mine on 36 count Ale by Picture This Plus, which Ale is the called for color. The called for was 28, and I wanted to stitch with 1 strand of floss. I'm using all the called for Classic Color Works. Okay, this isn't going to work. And this is big, so I'm going to hold it up here first and then I'll show you. I am always surprised, you know, it's with something big like this, it sometimes feels like you're not making super good progress. Let's see if I can move my mic a little bit. However, when I look at it like this, I really am. So I did a lot of work this last few weeks over here, like bringing all the blue. I wanted to have it even. It's almost even. I don't have all the white stars in yet, but I've kind of changed my thinking on that. We'll see. And then I did start the next row of states in red. So let's flip it around and talk about this a little bit. Let's start over here with the stars. So what I ended up doing, you can see I've started filling in white stars here, but then I ended up just starting to do this. And I don't have to look at the chart when doing the stars or the outline anymore. I have it totally memorized. The only time I have to look at the chart is over here, and yes, I am missing a little blue stitch there. I played Floss Chicken real good, and I could not make that work. So I do need to put a little blue stitch in here. In fact, I have 4 needles loaded up with blue, and I'm just going to work on blue, and I'm going to tonight, and I'm going to do that first, and then we're going to work on this. I've kind of decided I'm going to keep bringing this down, and I think I'm going to try to get the outline for the stars part, and then I'll just kind of work on adding stars as I can, because it takes about a strand and a third of another strand maybe. I cut mine kind of short. I don't like to have super long strands to do those stars. And then I did start on North Carolina, and just gonna stitch that, but it's a lot of work. I love it. I actually really, really enjoy stitching this. This is great when I'm watching something because, like I said, I know what the pattern is now, and I don't have to look at the chart at all. Unless I'm like right along the sides here where I'm having to add, and I am missing a couple of little stitches here too, it looks like. But unless I'm having to do something along the sides, I can just stitch and stitch and stitch. So anyhow, that is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. I still really love it. I love that this is kind of my long-term project. I'm really looking forward to finishing it. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes to finish it with doing this 2 strands a day. So the next thing, and my last thing I've stitched on since the last video, is Stay True from With Thy Needle and Thread, which is a brand new release from Brenda Gervais. I did go to the Farm Girl Gatherings retreat last year, so I have it. That's why I have a little box for it. This is Stay True. It's another big girl. I think I'm in my bigger design era. Like everything I want to start is big. I don't know why, but I'm just rolling with it. There's another one I really want to start. We'll see. And there's a couple Humming of the Bees, and is it Peace on Earth that I'm starting in July? Is that when they're starting? Who the heck knows? I talked about it in my last video. There's stitch-alongs happening. Everything is kind of big, and like I said, I'm not mad about it. So I am super excited about this. I had a little start on it last year, and I know I shared it after the retreat. I'm stitching it on 36 count Winter Brew by R&R, which I believe was the called for. This is what we got in the kit. And I had stitched this corner here and this border all the way over. And originally I was going to stitch the whole border and see if it matched up. I have changed how I think I'm going to stitch mine. I'm going to stitch by page, and we'll just go from there. So I'm on page 1. I would really, really love to be able to stitch 1 page a week. If I'm not mistaken, there's, I was going to say 9 pages. That doesn't sound right though, does it? Hold please while I look at the pages. There's 1 out in my stand. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I am correct. If by my estimation, that would be 9 weeks of stitching, and then I could take it to the framer to get framed. I would really love that. Anyhow, that's kind of what I'd like. Who knows if that's even realistic, but regardless, I would like to finish it this year at some point. So, and get this on my wall. I would really, really love to have this on my wall. Last night, I did work on this a little bit. I stitched, let's see, what did I stitch? So I stitched this little section here, which is Mountain Mist and Olive, I think. Of course, the outline is Oscar, all classic Brenda Gervais colors, right? So I did this little section with the flowers and the bee. I added these little red berries. I had brought down, I think this was here. I brought down a little bit more of this. I put in my little black crow or the bird. I started the little alphabet. There's an A, B, C here. This right there. And then I started this little section, which is a couple of little birds. I filled in these berries and started the legs of one of the bird and then the little flower here in there. So just a tiny little bit of this, but absolutely love it. I will link to this at Chantel's 141 Design where you can pre-order it. Love, love, love this piece so much. It is stunning. And I am every stitch. This is another one where I enjoy every stitch. With needle and thread, every stitch. But I wanted to work on this a little bit. I did already have a start, but it was so, so tiny. I hadn't even picked it up again since last year. So I went ahead and picked it up. And yes, I only ironed the part of the fabric you guys would see. But I love this. It is gorgeous. I would definitely pick this one up if you love with by needle and thread designs. It's just, it was stunning, stunning in person, and it's just going to be gorgeous, and I love it. Okay, let's talk quilting briefly. I hope to have a lot more to share on that front next week, obviously project bags and things, but I am sewing along with Fat Quarter Shop for the Jolly Tree Farm Mystery Quilt Along. They do a Mystery Quilt Along every July and for Christmas, and this year's is super cute. I did last year's as well, and I didn't sew along with them. I bought the whole kit and everything and sewed along, and it's probably one of my favorites ever. Of course, it had the reindeer and the sleigh, still probably one of my top favorites. I've also done the Jelly Roll Snowflake from Fat Quarter Shop, which is another free chart. Both of those are free. I'll link to both of those below. So this is not new to me, but they asked if I wanted to quilt along with them, and I said yes. I was thrilled to be asked. So it's a mystery. You could pre-order. Maybe you can still pre-order. However, it's going to, I think they drop the pattern tomorrow on Monday, and I will be sharing my block or the first week's projects on Tuesday, but I wanted to share that. So I can't show you all of this because it is a mystery unless you pre-ordered yours. So let me set that out of the way, but I would love if you're sewing along. So I want to show you guys what I am using, and unfortunately mine came a little bit late, so I will be playing a little bit of catch up, but that's okay. That's what I will be doing here over the weekend. And I wanted to show what I picked to sew with. So I decided I wanted to do something a little bit more, a little less bright. They picked, I want to say, it's Sherry and Chelsea's new collection. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. But I picked Jingle Bell from Andover, and you can see the colors here. They are stunning. I'm really excited. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to lay them out yet. You'll see what I mean when you start seeing the blocks. It is called Jolly Tree Farm, so that probably gives you some hint of what kind of blocks you might be seeing in this mystery quilt along. I picked for my background, I figured for the tree farm, I liked these snowflakes on this beautiful background. And then this is going to be my binding, this plaid. My backing fabric is not here yet. I'll show you what I picked for my backing though. Let's look through here. I'm going to link to this. It obviously takes a layer cake. Did I pick this one? I might have picked this one. I think that's what I picked. It has the kind of pinks in it. Let me look at this really quick. No, I didn't. I picked this one. I knew I picked a pink one. So I loved this soft pink background with the berries and the greenery. So this is the backing fabric I picked for this, and I'll link to this collection at Fat Quarter Shop in case you're interested and want to stitch along. And I will be showing all of this, definitely, I'll be showing all of this throughout all of my Flosstube episodes on Sundays, but also on Tuesdays, I will be sharing my blocks on Instagram and social media. So definitely check that out too. Really excited to sew this. It's always one of my favorite projects. And just an FYI, the Halloween one, I will also be quilting along. Really excited about that one too. So stay tuned for that. But again, on Tuesdays, I will be sharing my block progress, and in my Flosstube episodes, I will be sharing my blocks each week. So if you are quilting along with Fat Quarter Shop, let me know. Let me know what collection you picked to sew with, and I cannot wait to see everybody's choices and everybody's blocks. Let's talk a little enamel vision. I have some things that Fat Quarter Shop has sent, so I want to talk about those things, and then a couple of things I've picked up, a lot of quilty stuff. But I do want to mention that Fat Quarter Shop has their new limited edition Christmas mug from Swig Life, and it is super cute. It's called Cute Christmas Travel Mug. It is on reservation right now, so there's a pre-order price and reservation fee. I have the one that they came out with either last year or the year before. I can't remember which. It's a great size, like a great size for your hot coffee or hot cocoa. Great to go. I use it all the time. I use it now, even though it's has Christmas on it. That is my go-to travel coffee mug when I have to be out and about in the mornings, like when I'm on my way to a hair appointment. Hello, Gray Roots. I totally need a hair appointment here pretty soon. But that's what I take with me. And then I always take a water as well. But that's my go-to hot coffee. Really great quality, super cute design. So I'm going to pop a photo in here, or I've popped a photo in here. I will put a link to the pre-order here, but it is really, really great. Like I said, it's great quality, really cute, would make fabulous gifts. I believe they start shipping in October, so it is a little bit early, but they're limited edition, and if you want to make sure and have one for gifts, I would recommend going ahead and pre-ordering and reserving it now. All right, let's first talk about, I want to show you guys, I know it's sold out, but I wanted to show the Fat Quarter Shop Liberty box. And part of the reason I want to show this, a lot of the components are available individually. And you guys, there's a couple of things in here that I think are phenomenal. So at anything available individually, I will share with you. If I can encourage you about anything, the Fat Quarter Shop's specialty boxes, they're limited edition boxes. When they say they're available for pre-order, like when the spooky box here will probably be available for pre-order pretty soon, and then they have the Jolly box, which is the Christmas one. I think those are the final two this year. Jump on them. They are always have something phenomenal in them. And I will be sharing how to make my project bag. Well, I have it with last year's. Project bag I showed you, and the one that I'm going to do the tutorial, that was fabric from the Liberty box last year. So I didn't do the project in the box. I used my fabric for that. This fabric would be great for that as well if you got the box. Or make a quilt with it for sure. You could totally do whatever you want with it. Just an idea. So it always comes packaged beautifully. And there's always a QR code for additional quilts, all kinds of good stuff like that. And then you get your handout of what is included. So we're just going to work our way through here. The first thing we have, we're going to move out of the way, is our Star Salute Firework Fields Fat Quarter Bundle by Gracie Larson for Riley Blake. And I gotta tell you, this would also make a super cute project bag. I love the fabric in here. It is fantastic. In fact, let's just open it up. If Fat Quarter Bundles or this fabric collection, probably the fabric collection, whatever's left of this is available, I will link to it because it is fabulous. These would also be great for the backing on pillow finishes for our cross stitch. Any of these. Look at how cute these are, you guys. Gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics. I really love this collection. Look at the little plaids. This little star, if you know, you know. I love tiny little patterns. Looks like little stars and little fireflies or butterflies. And then my other weakness, I love little teeny tiny flags. That is adorable. And then this little floral print. This is a gorgeous grouping of fabric, a wonderful collection. So I will link to this fabric collection. And again, it's Star Salute Firework Fields Bundle. It might just be called, let me look, Firework Fields. It's not that whole thing because Fat Quarter Shop does do a smaller bundle of it for their box. Okay. That's valued at $38.98. Next, and I was really excited about this, I actually have, I have a couple of natural colored ones of these, but I have run out of space, and I think this will be perfect for maybe like my block lock rulers and things. This is the True Blue 8-inch wooden ruler rack from Fat Quarter Shop. First of all, I'm a blue girl, so this was fabulous. You can buy this individually. I haven't looked to see if it was still in stock, but definitely check it out. This is valued at $10.98. And you just stick your rulers in here. Let me grab one. I love them. This is how I store my rulers. So I just put one of Lori Holt's Cute Cuts rulers in here, and you can see there's lots of room. I usually stagger them, like I'll put a couple in. I make the most of my room, is what I'm saying. I needed a new one, another one, because I've run out of room, and I've been doubling up, and it doesn't work that great. So I love, love, love this. That, and I already said what that was valued at. Okay, next, you get a half square triangle helper. This is also a Fat Quarter Shop exclusive. This is valued, this was the bonus, right? Yes, and it's valued at $8.98, and it just helps you marking half squares, and it says up to 5 1/4 inch finished. That is really cute and a really good helper. Again, this is something I would use. I love that. I love when the box has lots of things I'll use in it. Okay, and then I do want to mention, in honor of the brave men and women who have served our country with courage and selflessness, Fat Quarter Shop is proud to support the Quilts of Valor Foundation by donating a portion of the proceeds from each Liberty box up to $5,000, which this sold out, so I'm assuming that they went ahead and matched this at $5,000. I'm sure Kimberly says in her Friday live streams, but amazing, and I love that they do that. Okay, my favorite thing from the box might be this. I actually really loved everything in here, but this was one of my favorites. These are valued at $12.98, and they're bookends. Now, they could be super cheesy, you know, like when you get bookends like this. I actually needed some bookends, and I've been looking for some things. I think these are gorgeous, and I know these were on the website. I hope they're still available. They're heavy, and they're lovely. They slide right in. They're going to be great for holding up my quilt books, my cross stitch books. I love these, and I love that they're white. They're this really beautiful white. These are valued, I think I said $12.98. Fabulous. I thought these were really great. Another thing that I thought was a wonderful addition to the box. And then we have our Star Salute quilt pattern, which I also thought was really pretty. This measures 60 by 70, 60 and a half by 76 and a half. This was beautiful. On the back, it tells you everything else you need. You can use any fabric collection, obviously. $11.98 is what this is valued at. So that was lovely. And then there were a couple of stickers. These are a bonus from the box, which I thought those were cute too. Would be great in your planners or anything, or on your laptops or your swig mugs, whatever. So that is the Liberty box. We're going to move right in to the June Sew Sampler. It's called Making Waves. And as always, there's a lot of information on the back of here and savings. I will link to anything that's still available for this as well. So let's just grab our little card out. And let's just start going through it. So the first thing is our Sunset Wales Scenery Fat Eighth Bundle. This is by Elizabeth Hartman for Moda Fabrics, valued at $34.98. Super bright, colorful fabrics, really, really cute. I'm not going to open them though. I am going to be giving those away, so I don't want to open anything. Then let's go in order, Nicole. They also included some chrome needles, sewing machine needles. These are valued at $6.48. I always love new sewing machine needles, so not sad about that at all. Then there's the Elizabeth Hartman's Casserole Enamel Needle Minder, which is an exclusive. Really, really cute. That will be in my part of a giveaway too. And the Sunset Wales quilt pattern, and then enamel needle minder valued at $11.98. The Sunset Wales quilt pattern, really cute, but I know I saw some other people mention this in their box opening videos, that the pieces are really tiny. So this is probably more intermediate to advanced. But if you love Elizabeth Hartman patterns, I mean, this is darling. Absolutely darling. If you got a little one coming in your life, wouldn't it be cute to do this as a baby quilt? It's 42.5 square. This pattern is valued at $11.98. And I'm going to put that there. Here, and here's the back of it. Shows you everything included. I just thought it's a very, very cute pattern. Then we also got a spool of Pima silver cotton thread. And then we got block 3 for the spooled quilt along, which I do have all the stuff for it. I love that. And that is valued at $4.98. And then they have been doing from the vault patterns. This is acorn caps. And this is 48.5-inch square. This is really cute. That's a really, really cute pattern. So that is just a bonus. So thank you so much, Fat Quarter Shop, for sending along the Sew Sampler. I will link to any of these things that are available down in the description below for you guys. So if you're interested in picking any of these up, or picking up patterns or the fabric collections or any of the exclusives that they have available, you can do that. Okay, you guys, the Stitch Quarterly also came from Fat Quarter Shop. So we are going to open this up. Remember, this year they partnered with Cross Stitch Designers, and I'll just tell you guys now that I'm going to be giving all of these away at the end of the year when I have all of them as a group. So this one, super, super cute. Obviously, the adorable bag with the bunnies and all of that stuff, very spring themed. This was the spring Stitch Quarterly. It's Stitch Quarterly with Friends. And here's everything in here. So we're going to just go through it. The pattern is absolutely darling. It is from Cecilia of Heart and Hand. It's My Blooming Country Home adorable. Absolutely adorable, you guys. So you get the chart valued at $9.48. This year they did not include fabric because they know a lot of you want to stitch with what the fabric you want to stitch on. You also get all the floss for this, and it's all classic colorworks, it looks like. This is valued at $25.80. The bag is valued at $13.48 that I just showed you. You also get a needle in here, a size 26 needle. I don't know that that was actually anything. You do get the cross stitch fabric label sticker pack, which is really awesome. Perfect for labeling your cross stitch fabrics. This would be fabulous on my bags. Huh. I might keep this, you guys. This might not be in the bag. Who knows? I love this. So you can label your fabrics really easily. And then you also look at this enamel needle minder. I kind of want to keep this for my collection too. I might not be giving everything away in this. I'll let you guys know later. This is the Birdsong enamel needle minder. And oh yeah, the needle was a bonus. The enamel needle minder is $12.48. That's adorable. Such a cute, cute, cute chart. Anyhow, that is the Stitch Quarterly. Love this. There are 2 more designers left in the Stitch Quarterly. I love how they're doing it this year. I think it's fabulous. So definitely check that out. If any of this stuff is available, I will let you guys know. I don't think, obviously, they're doing the charts available individually yet, but I might be wrong about that. Anyhow, check the description box. I'll let you know down below. Okay, I am doing the Seeing Stars Block of the Month from Sweetwater. Also, they wrap it in this cute ribbon. Here's my FYI for cute ribbon like this. You know my flag that I did, and I went through my jar. What I do is anytime I get anything packaged with cute ribbon, I will put it in my jar. Let me show you my jar. It's absolutely packed full. A lot of it has come from packaging, but anytime I need a little bit of ribbon, I just dive in here. I just shove it in there and I just dig through here. It's probably not the most efficient, but I love it because I can just kind of grab little bits of ribbon in here, and it's a great way to save anything that might be from packaging. So this is the Sweetwater. Oh, and some of my fabrics are over there. They had missed sending out some of them, and they sent them out separately. But I need to get to work on this. I actually have the whole first month. This is the 3rd month. It's only 4 months. I have it starched, and I just haven't sewn it yet, but I love it. So here's what the blocks look like for the 3rd month. Really cute. I'd like to get this done into the quilter, so we'll see. But I love, love, love Sweetwater fabric. And when they showed this, I thought, you know what? I want to participate in this. I need to show some progress next week. You guys hold me accountable. Say, Nicole, where's your quilting? Anyhow, so I want to work on that. That did come. And then I bought this from Simply Stitches Fabric Shop. This is the Everwoven Vintage Charm Bow, and I was obsessed. You can make any bow with this, but I'm obsessed with this red, white, and blue bow, so I bought their bundle to make this. Look at the fabric. Absolutely a darling. And then they send a little extra fabric, which, how perfect is this for pillow backings, for cross-stitch finishes? So I also need to get this sewn before next weekend or whenever. I don't think this would take very long. And I have made bows before. I made some of them from during the holiday season, but I just was obsessed with this. So I did buy this as a kit. I will link to their shop down below because they do a lot of really cute little kits and things. And I think they do a wonderful job. The last little bit of haul, I I think the only other haul I have is I did get my labels from Sweetwater. I'm part of their label club, and this was this month's labels. I always love having these because I like putting them on my quilts or my finishes, all that kind of good stuff. They just iron on. I sew them in too, but sometimes I just iron them on and I love them. Okay, so for my Get Organized with Nicole this week, I have two things. The first thing I'm going to share with you is my ribbon storage. I still am using for like my cross stitch ribbons and trims that come in packages. Think Lady Dot Creates, Dames of the Needle. I put those on those ribbon cards that I've shared many times before in my Alex IKEA drawers. But I also have spools of ribbon, and I used to keep them in some boxes, which worked okay when I had different storage space. But in this room, I have a different setup, and I also don't think it's that usable. I have found myself reaching for my ribbon more since I switched it to this. So I am going to share with you guys my ribbon storage, which sits on top. These are my Alex IKEA drawers. I took you through these several episodes ago, but I also hung up, so my little rainbow that I got it somewhere from some friends at a gift exchange at some point. I had it over there, but I moved it. And then I did hang up this sweet little heart rainbow quilt that my friend Lori made me for Christmas. And I thought that looked really cute in that little space. But these are my ribbon storage. And I had some of these already. I'm going to move over here so you can get a little bit more of a straight on look. And yes, I have to walk over Odin. But I did pick up more, and I like all of my stuff in rainbow order, but this is where all my spooled ribbon goes. And believe it or not, I did purge some of this, but for the most part, I've kept a lot, and a lot of it is old Stampin' Up, which is funny, but there's also some Vivant from Spellbinders, some May Arts in here. I think that's about it. There's some other things. And then that roll of natural rickrack that I was talking to you about that's on my Brenda Gervais finishes. These stack. Let me see if I can do it one-handed. Probably not. But they stay together really well, but they're not permanent. They could hang on the wall. I just have them sitting on top of here. And they do have these great little discs that slide. So if your whole row is not full, it will hold them there where they won't fall over. And also I've used them as like dividers in certain instances as well. But that is my ribbon storage. I'm going to link to these. I get them on Amazon. I think they're Art Bin. I think that's the company, which is a great storage company anyway. But those are my ribbon organizers. Not only are they organized, but I think they look super pretty. I'm going to back up a little bit. They look really pretty up there. Normally this is full of crap. I'm not going to lie. I had my rulers on here, but I've actually moved them to my cutting table, which is just out around the corner. I got the matching Pottery Barn project table. And it's great for being able to just leave my setup for cutting fabric out there and not having to move everything off of this surface. Anyway, so it looks really nice. And the rulers go on the shelves is my long explanation. But I did have my rulers up in front of here, which was fine too. But yeah, it looks so good, especially when it's cleaned off. It looks really, really good. But I thought this was so stinking cute. Anyway, I wanted to share the ribbon storage for you guys. They're easy to be able to just get in here and pull out one of the ribbons that you want. Then you can put them back. You can feed the ribbon through the little notch in the front here. Oh, here it is. If you want, but I don't, because I just pull my ribbon out and use it for whatever I'm working on, and then I put it back. Anyhow, that's my ribbon. Loving that. I'm trying to take you guys through any little thing I get done. I worked on this a couple weeks ago. Bought more of these, and I bought some and I didn't buy enough because I didn't realize how much ribbon I had. And then this poor roll of ribbon, I just found in a box that I don't even know why it wasn't where with the rest of them. I bet you I find more. Although I'm whittling away the mess, one box at a time. Nice to be able to see it all. And then, of course, the rest of my ribbon is in these two drawers. And that's going to be a lot of my trims and things that maybe don't fit. My ribbon tools or my bow tools are in here as well, since that's where I go for those. And Odin, good boy. Thing I've been asked about, and someone wanted to know, how do I make these hoops for my enamel pins and needle minders? And I use this as, please don't look down here too much. This is where I threw everything as I was done talking about it today. But this is my sewing desk in my craft room. And this is the wall back behind me, which is so cute. It makes really great art. And this was all inspired by my friend Shari Moss. And she had done this. And so I really followed her directions. And I am going to do my top-down camera, and I'm going to show you guys how you can do that too. Really easy. I'm just going to walk you through it step by step. I do want to show you one thing though before I go over and start making them. So let me flip this back around actually. I want to show you guys, these are the command hooks, and I will link to these, but that's what I recommend if you don't want to put a bunch of nails in your wall. Now you could put nails in your wall if you want to. And I don't know, one of these did fall down. So although I think I put new sticky stuff on it, so I think it's okay. But if I ever need to, or if I don't want them to potentially fall, I may just put nails on the wall. But I do love the command hooks. That's what I've used for all of these. I have one up here that doesn't have much on it, but let's go ahead and make another one, shall we? All right, let's talk about everything you need for this. It's a super easy project. You need whatever size embroidery hoop. I had some I had some extra ones. This one is a 8-inch one. Good grief, Nicole. I had some small ones, but I actually kind of like 8 is about as big. I think I might actually have one slightly bigger than this. I don't know what size it is. I'm looking. I have one that is bigger, but I think most of them are 8 or 9. So what we're going to do, I like to buy them when they're on sale. If I have this specific one on Amazon, I'll link to it. They might be from Michael's. I'll link to them there as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to open it up a little bit, like so. Now the fabric that I had been using for all the others, I'm actually out of it. I used up every last bit of it when I made those last couple. So I looked through my scrap bin for something else that I thought would be cute and match. And I actually have this Camille Ross Kelly Shine On little tiny micro rainbow, which I think would also be cute mixed in here. So, and I know I have a little bit of this, which means that I could make a couple of these that would mix in with the other one really nice. I don't think I have any of the maker kind left. No, I don't. I used it all. I thought so. So you need a scrap of fabric. I like something pretty neutral. A scrap of batting. All of my batting scraps were really tiny. This is what I buy. This is like a craft size or baby size soft warm and white. I have the hiccups. I'm so sorry. This is a warm and white. It's really thin. That's why I like it. But I just opened a new package so I could have something big enough. Let me find an edge. And what we're going to do, I'm going to fold this out. So what you need, hoop, scrap of fabric, scrap or some batting, some scissors. I love these snips from Fat Quarter Shop. They're sweet snips. They are fabulous. Some E6000, like a popsicle stick. This is what we're going to use to make the hanger on the back, that and the E6000. And then you either need nails, or I like the command hooks. I like these little ones, and I use 2 per hoop. So what we're going to do, I'm actually going to take the bigger of the two hoops, and we're going to just lay out our batting, lay out our scrap piece of fabric or your fat quarter, whatever, depending on what size you want to do. I do think the bigger you do, the less those command hooks, because you can put a lot more needle minders on the big ones, will hold. So you might want to consider like a little nail or something. And then I like to line it up like this. And at this point, you could just go ahead and put your fabric in here and cut around it. But I like I'm just going to take an air erasable marker or pen, and I'm going to draw around the bigger size of the hoop, and I'm going to probably cut about an inch out from there. I don't like a lot of extra, but I also kind of like having a little guide. So what I'm going to do then, let's draw our actual cut line, and we're just going to rough draw it all the way around. This is not a very technical project, which is the best kind. Super quick and easy. And it does make really cute wall art for your craft room. Especially, I don't use my needle minders a lot, but I love them. And so I like having a collection of them, and it makes really cute decor. So on our cutting line, which is not the hoop size line, remember, we're cutting out around there. We're just going to cut around it. Okay. And put that back in my scraps. Let's move our batting out of the way. Okay, so we're left with this right here. Okay, I was going to say I might iron it. It'll straighten out. So we're going to put the inner part of the hoop, and we're going to take the outer part of the hoop, and I want to, especially my other one is like, my other fabric was like this too. It had words on it that says maker, and so I needed to definitely have it go. If it's non-directional, you're good, but if it's directional like rainbows or words, would definitely work a little bit to have that go the right direction, straight up and down. And I just want to center this and put that in my hoop like so. And I definitely would say, so a couple of mine, I didn't err on the side of caution, and I cut my outer circle a little too small. So once you have it like you like, go ahead and put it in here. And then we're going to clean this up. It's pretty good around here. Like, I like a little bit of the ruffle, but I noticed that it's a little wider. So I'm just going to go around now. That's why I said you could put it in the hoop and cut around it if you want to. I've done it both ways. I do think this is a little bit better, but you do you, and do how you want. Because on the wall, I like it to have a little bit of that ruffle all the way around. And then from here, I'll show you a needle minder on here, what it looks like. But we're going to finish it, but it needs to sit and set up for, I usually let it sit for a day. But whether you have enamel pins or a needle minder, what you'll do is you'll just put, obviously, one piece on the back, one on the front, and then pop it wherever you want and decorate it. If you have pin backs, when you stick them through here, pop the pin back on the back. Okay, so on the back of here, we definitely want to make sure where we have the top. We're going to take our little popsicle stick, and this is how we're going to make the hanger. And this was the part Shari, well, she shared all of this, but this is the part I was like, oh, so brilliant. So I like E6000. I like these mini tubes because mine always gets gunky, and so I feel like I'm not wasting a whole tube. So on the ends of my little popsicle stick, I'm going to put some E6000, and then we're just going to place this on the back of our hoop like so. And we're going to let that set and set up. And then what's going to happen, and I'm going to show you on one of my finished ones, when this is set up, then you can hang it on the wall. So for example, this one, and it's pretty heavy. I think this is also an 8-inch, it is. So I'm going to flip it over and show you. I have needle minders and pins on here, and it is a little too full, so probably a couple of these I'll move over to this one so that they're spread out and spaced out just a little bit more. But when this is dry, you're going to just slip this, because now it's stuck on here really good, over those command hooks on your wall, and that's how it hangs on the wall. But you don't want to, I'm going to set this over on my counter, probably by my ribbon, let that completely set up, and then I can hang this one up. So that is how you make the decor for the wall. I hope you guys like this little mini tutorial. Really, really fun way to use these things. I know if you're like me, you probably have a little collection of them, or maybe you're gifted some of them at retreats and things, and it's just a fun little decor for your craft room. Okay, so a couple of little shop updates. We have the Santa floss drops and project cards, the Vintage Notions floss drops and project cards. We restocked the 1/4 inch silk ribbon, and we did add a new color. So we added navy, which is the most beautiful navy color, perfect for your red, white, and blue. So navy has been added. I will put a link to the shop down below, as well as the navy ribbon. And then I did want to share that the PDF for the Life is Sweet, this is the piece I did for the Chantal's 141 Spring Break 2025 retreat, which was a combination of my felt stitching dies for spellbinders and then a cross stitch design. So you get all of the instructions for how to finish this. This is the shelfie. That's great. I love when I can't remember. This is the shelfie swapper, but this is the little stand, and you can get additional boards from Chantal and swap them out. There's full instructions in the PDF for this, as well as, I know not everyone has a die cut machine or wants to dive in to felt stitching with dies or anything like that. So in the chart, there is a templates for wool applique. Wool applique, if you wanted to do something similar with wool applique, minus the bumblebee. I didn't have a template for that, so I would either leave the bee and the bee trail off, although it's really cute, or what I would personally do is take just another Button Company bee button and pop that onto your design. So my plan all along has been to release additional shelfie swappers with the same concept of felt and cross stitch. So this fall, look for some new designs coming. And you can obviously put anything on the shelf, this little shelfie here. It's really, really cute. And you can, if you don't want to glue, I did glue this bow on, but you could tie it on and swap that out. Paint your board something neutral, and then you can just simply each season swap out your design. But the chart, the PDF chart, full details for how to do all of this is included in there. The links for the felt stitching dies, if you want the felt stitching dies, are included as well, or you can use those templates. I added those for the PDF release since it's been a year now, just for those of you maybe who took my Needlebook class and wanted to do wool applique instead. You could totally do that, get a very similar look. It would be super, super cute. So that and the ribbon, the navy ribbon, are added to the shop, and there's a restock of ribbon. So if you've been looking for some certain colors, definitely check that out. I think that's it for shop updates for now. Okay, so I'm kitting up a couple of projects for stitch-alongs that are starting, I think they're starting July 1st. I'm not exactly sure. So the first thing is Humming of the Bees by Blackbird Design. And for this, I didn't have the called for, I think it's Velt by Picture This Plus. So I actually, let's go ahead and flip this around. I have pulled my product for Humming of the Bees. I've got one of my Vintage Notions project cards I'm going to fill out really quick. I did have to order a few floss colors. It's all over dyed in this chart, so I'm not using any floss drops for this, and I ordered my colors. I'm going to get these on a ring. I may actually use one of these just to say what project it is. One moment. So I'm actually going to use one of my floss drops, but this is just going to be on my ring so I know what these threads go to, because I can't tell you how many times I have zero idea what chart the threads go to when I do like a Flosstube, or if I'm just going between projects crazy like. So we're going to put Humming of the Bees here. And I'm going to go ahead and put all of my threads, and then I should get my 1, 2, 3 stitch order. They had all the threads I needed in stock, so that's where I ordered all of my threads for this. And I decided to pull 36 count Thornfield by Needle and Flax. I think it's going to look really good. If I have to switch some colors, I'll switch them, but I think everything's going to be okay. So we're also going to, on our project card, we're going to fill this out. And I'm just going to say that this is a 7-1 start. I'll find the SAL information and I'll fill that out because I do kind of like to keep track of that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, so I recently went through all my project bags, like gifts and stuff I've had. I have the perfect project bag for this. So my friend Heather Nichols made me this project bag a couple years ago, and it didn't have anything currently in it. So guess what? Humming of the Bees is going in this. I mean, look at her piecing, you guys. For this, is this not the cutest thing ever? And I'm going to put my Lori Holt Beehive charm here on the zipper. And I'm just going to pop this in here so it's all ready to go. So there is my Humming of the Bees kitted up. The next thing I have is Peace on Earth by Shakespeare's Peddler, which I have kitted up. Now it was stitched on 36 count natural by Zweigart. I actually picked 36 count treasure map by Color and Cotton. You can't even see it because all of my threads are on here. Here's what I picked for it. Might be a little darker, although when I put my natural next to it, I thought it was close enough. I love treasure map, and I think it's going to be okay. The only thing I was a little concerned about was maybe tea and biscuits. I don't know. And I will tell you, so it calls for 2 skeins of prairie grass. Look how different my prairie grass is. So I actually ordered 2 more. So we'll see what those come looking like. This one's really brown. This one's really green. Definitely won't use these 2 on the same project. Anyhow, so we'll see what comes and then what we get there. I'm glad I looked. Now, this was some leftover floss from Keeper of the Pens, and I need 611, DMC 611. So this is on a different floss drop. I went ahead and pulled my Santa floss drops and project cards for this, and I'm just going to transfer over my 611 to this so that I can put this on this project. So let's go ahead and just put 611 and Peace on Earth. I don't always switch them out, but in this case, I decided to go ahead and do that. And then I've got white here. And then I went ahead and just ordered one of the other ones because I was lazy and I don't want to run to Michael's. So we'll put that one on there after a bit. And then let's see what the other color was. It was $37.87, I think. It is. All right. So I have these all ready to go. Let's just go ahead and pop all of these on here. What I do have, and I was missing a couple of colors for this, not tons, but like I said, I ordered more prairie grass, so we'll be switching out that. I needed another skein of grits. Oh, grits needs a little tag thing on it. Hold please, we're gonna fix that. Let's just throw all of these on here. We'll put the white on in a minute. And these are those little sticky tabs I get off of Amazon. This must have been from a project that I do have a whole thing of floss that needs to be put away from projects. And so I'm just working my way adding those little tabs to all my week's dye works. Oh shoot, I put this on there wrong. There we go. So we can keep these all together. I completely forgot to kit these up. So I have enough floss, I think, to at least get started. So let's go ahead and do Peace on Earth by Shakespeare's Peddler. And I'm doing 36 count treasure map. I love these cards because then I know what I'm doing when I tell you guys. By Color and Cotton. And again, I will make sure that I add in here like the hashtag and everything for the stitch along. Oh gosh, this is so pretty. Okay, I don't have a project bag for this, so come back next week. Maybe I'll make myself a little project bag too. I think all my Christmas, I don't even have that many Christmas project bags, but I think the ones I do have are in use. I feel like for Christmas in July, I need a project bag. Don't you guys think? So come back. We'll see what I can come up with for next week. So before I let you guys go today, I do want to say that I do have a Buy Me a Coffee down in the description below, and it's never expected, always appreciated, and I want to thank Ellen so much. I use that for things like framing, finishing, tech for filming videos and all of that good stuff. And so I'm definitely saving up because I've got some big things to frame this year. So thank you for that. And again, it's never expected. So thank you so much, Ellen. As always, thank you to everyone who watches my videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for checking in on me. I know I was gone. I think we're back to regular scheduled programming now. I think things are back to just the normal crazy, not the super crazy, which I'm very happy about. And I'm very excited. Please stay tuned. I know I had intended to have the project bag and stars tutorials up. I'm going to put those up this week, and it's never too late to make those things. The project bag, anytime. Stars, I also think are good anytime. Yes, mine are in Patriotic colors, but I think Christmas colors would be fabulous too. What do you guys think? If I have a minute, I may try to make some up in Christmas fabrics for you guys, just to show you, and you could be ahead of the game. Christmas in July, right? But thank you, as always. Thank you for all the kind comments and just your support. I love this community. I love the heart of everyone in this community. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Have a wonderful stitchy week, friends. Bye.